1310. And so we have a lot of news to cover. And I was looking through my notebook. I don't know how many notebooks I have now. I probably should number them, um, because I try to write everything down, everything down. Um, and hearing that a very well known national journalist was fired, uh, and all of her personal records were confiscated is really alarming, um, uh, super alarming, because she was looking into uh, the Biden family's activities, and that's as far as I'm going to go with that, because that is huge. That's really huge. And I will say this, that Ken Paxton came out today on CPAC, and he said something so alarming. Um, he compared, he said that Biden is in cahoots with the cartel. That Biden is in cahoots with the cartel. That's what he said. Those aren't my words. That is Attorney General Ken Paxton of Texas. Very, very important in our case, because he is one of the largest Attorney General offices in the country. And of course, we have a real problem with District Attorney Bill Hicks, don't we? And of course, the real district attorney that has, like overpowered that office, John Briggs. John Briggs, the one of the attorneys there that has control over the murder cases, that being the Walmart mass shooting case. And yesterday, with the hearing, status hearing, we saw that he wasn't even there. He wasn't even there, because the defense attorney for Patrick Crusius was saying, "What are you hiding? What are you hiding there, John Briggs?" And of course it's him. Of course it's John Briggs, because he's been on this case from the beginning, because he oversees the murder cases. He's the one that everybody was pointing to, including his supervisor, uh, um, Scott Ferguson. Scott Ferguson, and it was repeated by Assistant District Attorney Curtis Cox, which was repeated the same. The delay, the botched, the intentional hiding of uh, information, the botching of cases, um, all the irregularities going on with the cases, letting these murderers walk free, delay, 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 which is big money, right? Because if a case takes years and years, the taxpayers have to pay for all of that. And so that was being repeated by George Alahana, and of course, who's also assistant district attorney, and also DA Yvonne Rosales, and of course, very well known in the newspapers, Loretta Lynn, who was also hired by Bill Hicks to be on that case, and the case was being hidden from her, and it was being politicized, and that's what she alleged, that it was being politicized. And what that means, capitalization off of the backs of the taxpayers, because they're up to no good. If all of these attorneys were doing their jobs, we would have very, very safe streets, right? We wouldn't have any crime. Why do we pay all of these attorneys? I mean, most attorneys are on the taxpayer's dime anyway. So I want to make that very, very clear that the real attorney that we need to look at, John Briggs, who has left Richard's case in no man's land in limbo, when it's and how do we know that? Because it's interconnected with the Walmart case, and the August 3rd, 2019 Walmart case has been left in no man's land, has been left in limbo, just going on, just sucking the money, millions and millions and millions of dollars, and that includes Richard's case. And there's not even really any indictments in Richard's case, for that matter. And who did they pick for the Walmart case? They picked Patrick Crusius, man, involved with, in cahoots with the cartel, in cahoots with the cartel. This is what. There's no doubt there is no doubt in our minds that the cartel is involved in all of this, okay? Because you see what is going on. You have the breaches in security that are intentional. You can't describe them any other way. The breaches on Fort Bliss are intentional because if the generals were very concerned about all of the threats that the United States faces right now, they would have our soldiers in tip top form, our service members in tip top form. They would not allow these breaches in security on, on their military installations. They would be ready to defend this country. They would be ready to defend the Constitution. They would be ready to defend the land and the people. That's what they're there for, and that's what they would do. But that is not what's going on. What is going on is human trafficking on our military installations. Um, uh, our barracks being marketplaces for illegal drugs, the fentanyl pouring in. Um, the barracks being flush with unregistered weapons, uh, weapons being smuggled by the truckload, by the truckload, by the tactical move storage unit truckload, and ammunition being smuggled by the truckload, by the tactical move storage unit truckload, and also the pornography, the sex cult being used as a weapon all through. That's why, right behind me, I have Theodora, right behind me. She was very, very tough on all the laws surrounding um, sexual activity. Why was she? Because sexual activity uh, is used as a weapon against the people to bring down a nation, a country, a community, against the institutions. It brings down the institutions. And so those activities have to be governed legally by, and how did she do that? With her husband Justinian, the Justinian Code. You can read it. You can read it online. The Justinian Code. It was by property laws, inheritance laws, property laws. If you participated in pedophilia, pedophilia is way out of control. The only reason why it is all over our military right now is because of the security breaches on our military bases, the generals not securing the bases, and that tells you that they are serving foreign and domestic enemies, that they are in cahoots with the cartels, that the generals are in cahoots with the cartels, just like the president is in cahoots with the cartels. And it wasn't me saying it, it was Ken Paxton. When Ken Paxton says, when the Attorney General of Texas says, right there in public at CPAC on on the news, to be shared with everybody, that the President of the United States is in cahoots with the cartels, then that means the military generals, the 44 four-star generals that we know because the fruit shows it. The fruit shows that they have betrayed this country, that they are also in cahoots with the cartels. And this explains why we have the breaches in security of our nation, about the border. Also, um, the absolute sabotage of John Briggs of these cases that would expose the involvement of the cartel with our officials, including our generals, including our highest official, the president. I really, this is what he is saying, that, by opening the borders, by having the security breaches, by intentionally having the security breaches, which is happening. And this is not me saying it. This is the law enforcers that are saying it. That it is obvious. It is obvious, and we don't have to question if that is an invitation for the cartels and also participation with the cartels. And so in Richard's case, and I even believe because of the information that I have, because of the autopsy reports that were um, shared with us, because of the 3905 Bliss Avenue being part of Mortuary Affairs, William Beaumont um, Army Medical Center, uh, these annexes for mortuary affairs, and then the Mario Raskin Ortiz not even being an American, not even being an American. And, that's scary. That's scary. The chief medical examiner not being an American. And, he gets almost $500,000 a year pay um, from the taxpayers. And, this security breaches. And then you have Bill Hicks representing Purchase Funeral Homes, which is a Mexico based uh, um, funeral home that has been given access to the United States to work in El Paso and to have many of their funeral homes in El Paso. And Bill Hicks was representing them up until his appointment, which is a conflict of interest because he says he is chair one, even though he's not. And we saw that yesterday. Chair one on the Walmart mass shooting case, and yet um, Purchase Funeral Homes is a key witness in that case. So it is such a conflict of interest. He knows things about Purchase, uh, and he's going to defend Purchase. Um, so, yeah, so then he has to give it over to John Briggs. But John, yeah, wow. Um, so now you see that you can have a status hearing and they still do not set a trial date. They still want that gravy train to suck taxpayers' money, even more so over 5 years after the event, right? Or about 5 years. Um, and that leads to this brown tip ammunition that we've been looking into. Ernest Christopher Grant. I'm going to put those in the kind of the same sentence because we know, because of our investigation of Ernest Christopher Grant, that he is a perpetual criminal, that he cannot be trusted, not one word, and his connections with other people in this case, specifically for everyone to see, Donna Sifford, who he calls his guardian angel, That was not an accident. That was not an accident, y'all, because she's also connected. She's also connected with people in this case. And that is not an accident. And with the dirty agents, including dirt, we've put in a formal complaint about Jesus Eddie Nieto Jr., the FBI supervisory agent for El Paso. Of course, we put in complaints about dirty agent Marlon Soto, Fort Bliss CID agent. And then, of course, we've put in complaints about Thomas Kane, the director of emergency services, and and more, and more. And of course, for El Paso Matters, who is used politically as violating their 501c3 because of their participation in election interference when it comes to Yvonne Rosales. And, the whole Walmart mass shooting agenda was formulated to also be election interference by making it a white supremacist, falsifying it as a white supremacist. And they even continued that yesterday, which was so disgusting because with the witnesses for that day and their connections, their conflicts of interest on the during the Walmart shooting, right? Right there in El Paso on August 3rd, 2019. The witnesses, when you look them up, and anybody that works for John Briggs, or John Briggs, of course, he has been accused of not doing anything. So if he's not doing anything, he doesn't know that these witnesses that day cannot be trusted, that they have conflicts of interest, that they have major conflicts of interest. And if they're like Christopher Grant with these, outstanding arrest warrant and perpetual criminal history like Leilani Hart, um, then what they say cannot be trusted. And then you have to look at who are their connections. Is it with the cartel, or is it with just the dirty politics there in El Paso, trying to win over or keep control over the institutions there, so that they can keep the gravy train flowing into their coffers with these hundreds of millions of dollars of bonds that is contracted out to their businesses. I mean, they just have a real sweet little business plan going there on the taxpayer's dime. And if there is a threat to it politically, then they're going to, according to what happened, I mean, would they even do a Walmart mass shooting? And so the tip that we received about the brown tip bullets and looking into that corroborates exactly what we're saying, because brown tip bullets corroborate what eyewitness testimony Glendon Oakley Jr., who is dead now. He was found dead in April of 2020 because what he was um, witnessing or testifying to was so damning to the Walmart narrative and exposed the M4s, the those that he saw in the mall with M4s, and there were many, lots of them, he said, lots of mall cops, he said. So they were in uniform, right? They were in uniform. Um, and they had M4s. Well, M4s are compatible with those brown tip bullets, which are, you know, um, they pierce through walls and they pierce through armor, and they are a specialized bullet. Okay, they're very specialized bullet. And our tip that says that those bullets, these brown tip bullets, were found at the crime scene at the Walmart mass shooting on August 3rd, 2019, which August 3rd is Dallas Hart's birthday. Um, so, for all of the witnesses that are claiming all of this, um, white supremacy and racist, vile and vulgar, that they are now unreliable. Okay? They are unreliable due to their conflicts of interest, due to their criminal histories. So then you say, okay, why did this happen? And, the brown tip bullets, this tip, so I don't, this is a theory, this is an investigative theory, with brown tip bullets being involved. If they're involved and the M4s are involved, and this is corroborated by eyewitness testimony, um, then these are specialized bullets. So specialized bullets mean specialized intentions. Okay, specialized intentions, so that certain people would be killed. So I think it's very, very important for the investigators to look at the history of those that were killed that day, targeted that day. We know because we have just debunked all of the witnesses that said it's because of racist intentions. That's a cover. What is the real reason? And now we have Ken Paxton coming out and saying that cartel are very active, right? Cartel are very active, and that the president of the United States right now, um, are in cahoots with them. So, and at the time, it was President Trump in 2019. And, so you can say, oh, so was he in cahoots? He was not in cahoots, but they were doing everything. And, and I don't know if he was in cahoots or not. I'm just saying by the fruit, by wanting to stop the border, by having Romney so mad at him. So with Senator Romney becoming his enemy, that told us everything, because that area is Romney land, right? This is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The people involved in these cases, for the most part, are Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and they have an invested interest in this area. They have a large population in the business world, and Mitt Romney's father was one of the leaders that founded or started this colonial uh, Juarez with the, you know, major school there, boarding school there, all the farms, ranches. It's all plush. It's very, very plush, and they have a big temple there in colonial Juarez. You need to see it. And, you know, this area has an invested interest in staying open bordered with the United States. Okay? Absolutely. Absolutely. And so his hatred for, and of course, we know of these car shootings with those that are Mormon. And, it's, to ask, are they also involved with the cartel? Are, because this is, for their safety, this is a very dangerous time. And, is there, yeah, oh man, are there problems lately, right? Because we know that as soon as Biden took office, he undid all of uh, the programs to vet the border, vet what was going on, and so we know that even the Jerry Jackovitz, the girls are coming on post. It was so easy for him to say that, you know. It was so easy, and it tells you the culture, the ideology. The ideology is not esprit de corps. The ideology is not security. The ideology is not protecting the Constitution. Um, the ideology is this sex cult, smuggling, trafficking, um, yeah, and crooked money making. You can say it's all kinds of um, money laundering and everything like that, which we know um, that somehow, some way, Dreams Cabaret is involved in all of this because Lilani Hart was getting her mail there, and they have a very notorious history. And now Jaguar seems to have a notorious day today because they've been shut down because of illegal activity. So, do they use these nightclubs as places to launder money? Launder money and just be up to no good, right? So, you know, to have these brown tip bullets being specific, that means we really need to look at the victims, what was going on with them, and why is this so important, the Walmart case? Because if we solve the Walmart case, we will solve our son's case, and vice versa. They are interconnected, it's the same people, and that's why we are looking into it. I didn't even check to see if I'm on Facebook because I came on a little bit earlier today, which which I needed to do. Okay, so this is huge news. We are making memes, and we are really writing tons of letters because you know we this is serious. This is so serious. This is our country, and our son's case is intertwined in this huge ordeal of unweaving, exposing the criminality that is attacking our country right now, really. And so, if you're going to attack a country, and this is these two behind me here, these two here behind me, um, Justinian and Theodora, who I've been talking about since I started these live streams. If you're wanting to attack a country, of course you attack its farmers, the food supply. Of course you do that. Of course you attack the family. Of course you attack the money, right? Instead of hard money, you indebt the country, the people, and uh, you know, uh, of course, you will attack the military and weaken it. And of course, COVID mandates did that so much, and these Cobra strikes did that so much. But also, these the level of insecurity that was allowed, the breaches of security that have been allowed that are intentional to hurt our service members with the fentanyl, um, like Asia Graham, uh, and so many. Um, the breaches in security that contributed to the murder of Austin Hawk, absolutely. And of course, the COVID mandates that contributed to the death of Enrique Roman Martinez, and on and on. You can go on and on. And of course, all of this nonsense, this criminality could have, that absolutely contributed into the forced disappearance and murder of our whistleblowing son, the Vanessa Guillen first absent soldier. That is absolutely, he pulled on a string, and it was the gravy train, y'all. It was the gravy train. And those that wanted to keep the gravy train going had to do him in, had to absolutely do him in. That is our, um, what everything is pointing to. And prime suspects, of course, are Dallas Hart, Tavita Nusa, James Courtney Hart, Lalani Hart, and more, and more, and more. Jay Paulin, and more, and more. And I would even say, I would even put Ernest Christopher Grant in there. Yes. And I have some real suspicions, call them motherly gut feelings about the the level of participation against Richard by Rosa Maria Valdez Garcia and her son Thomas Hoffman. So, and maybe her younger son, no, the older son, Alexander Thomas is the younger. I don't know. Just have this gut feeling. And of course, we're in connection now with the Fiscalia in Chihuahua, Mexico. We've been working very, very hard for months on this to get response help from the Fiscalia, from the State Department for the research. We meant it. We meant it. And we've been working very, very hard to get the leverage, to get that research, to get the investigations into our son. And, these partial remains found in Mexico. Um, Answered all our questions, answered. So that's very, very important. So thank you, everyone. I think that is, a lot of information there with the brown. Look up the brown tip bullets. They are unregistered. That means that they could be smuggled easily if that came into the military base and there was a breach and it was smuggled out and then it was used in the Walmart mass shooting. That would be very bad news for the Army indeed. And, you know, being compatible with the M4 really corroborates, and I want to honor Glennon Oakley Jr. Um, I really feel like I have a gut feeling that his death was also foul play. And I don't think that takes too much of a gut feeling to say that, but I want to absolutely say that. There is something else going on with this Annunciation House with Kim Paxton that I think is important and we're looking into. So we also are looking into the relationship between Yvonne Rosales and George Alejandra. That seems to be, uh, you know, uh, the lever for John Briggs on Yvonne Rosales. And, we're just always wondering what kind of strings does he have with or lever that he can pull that to control Yvonne Rosales. And we believe it's the relationship that she was having with George Alejandra. So, yeah, this is huge news, lots of news to take in. There's never a dull moment in this. And so I just want to ask you all to pray. I just want to pray for us. Um, and uh, absolutely share, comment, like, because we really did get some good news in today about investigations and things like this that's going on. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, y'all. And I just have to always, uh, you know, take some time to wrap my head around it. So I want to say thank you so much and share to help us um, so that people can respond so that if uh, they have insights, if they have information, that they can share it with us. Because this is a very serious case. And, David Poche always comes to mind on this. I feel like he was really, I don't know, I just wanted to make sure because he's in a very, very bad situation. And maybe he wants to come clean because a lot of people have information on all of this. And, you know, what side of history do you want to be on? You know, it's as simple as that. So thank you so much. God bless you. And I will be back tomorrow, God willing. Bye bye. And don't forget to share because that's very important.